Greetings, YouTube. It's chilly where I am. How warm is it where you are? Now, I understand that debt is an important component of most first world nations' economic systems. I have been rather successful, along with my wife, at paying down our debt, and we have our debt under control. In fact, our only major debt at this point are college loans for my wife. Other than that, we owe a very small quantity on some credit cards, which are very useful if you're engaged in commerce on the internet. But lenders are one of the reasons that we're in the economic woes that we currently have. And some of the lenders, which would fall into the category of predatory lenders, are more than willing to use any means, fair and foul, legal and illegal, to both lend money and get money from consumers. I think that we need consumer protections capping the amount of percentages that a lender can charge. I would probably cap it around 20%, but that's just me. For example, payday lenders, something that you find quite frequently in the United States, which is where they advance you money based on your paycheck you have coming in the following week, and they can charge incredibly high levels of interest. It's obscene. You can literally find yourself in a situation where you can't ever pay them off. It's horrible. But I also believe that if you get yourself into an agreement, even a really bad agreement, that you need to find a way of resolving it. You need to find a way of paying them back or going to court or something so that you can make things even, square them up. But there are cases when lenders, the people that are controlling the debt, do things which are more than just questionable, that go beyond unethical and immoral and go directly to illegal. Now, there's a case coming out of Erie, Pennsylvania. Yes, there is actually a place called Erie, Pennsylvania, about a debt collector. This is a company that collects debts for a living. That's all they do. Lenders who can't get the money from people who owe them will either hire a debt collector, or sometimes they'll sell the debt to a debt collector so that they get their money back. They don't have to worry about it any longer, and the debt collector is now responsible for getting the money from the borrower. And these kind of things exist, and they will use underhanded methods. And I know of these underhanded methods because my father used to work for a finance company, and my father was a raging psychotic alcoholic, and he was very, very good at getting money out of people who owed his company. He would camp outside your house for days. He would call you every 5 minutes on the phone, and this is back in the day before there were answering machines and call waiting and things like that. You couldn't block numbers. It was just wired phones into the wall, and when your phone rang, it rang. And he repossessed all kinds of things, cars and boats and televisions and houses. That's what he did. So I have a really good idea of how debt collectors can function. But these folks in Erie, Pennsylvania went one step further than that. They created their entire own fake legal system. They had people dressed up as sheriffs. They had an entire place set up as a fake court with fake judges. They dragged people into these places using fake arrest warrants and told them that they had to pay up their debts or they would go to jail. Now, I realize I'm not a legal expert and that my understanding of law is somewhat limited. But impersonating an officer, taking someone into custody, transporting them out of their home to another location, to my mind, sounds like kidnapping, which is a federal offense. Now, the Attorney General in Pennsylvania has sued this company. I want to know, why haven't they arrested every single person involved in this process? Why aren't the feds crawling up these people's butts like a medical probe? I'm at a loss why the entire legal system has not come down upon these people like a 5-ton lead weight. Because this is the most egregious example I can think of of a company, of a corporation, that has squashed consumers, that has completely removed any rights you have. Your choice is gone. You're being threatened, you've been arrested, you've been kidnapped, all in an effort to collect the debts. Now remember, I think the people should pay their debts, but there are legal procedures for doing so, and they don't involve fake sheriffs, fake warrants, real handcuffs, fake judges, and threats of being sent to jail. We don't have debtors' prisons in the United States. Alright, we have things close to them, but we don't have debtors' prisons. So you can sue people. You might, if you push this process far enough, even get someone arrested because they've failed to live up to the court-ordered suit. But that's a very slow, long legal process. And these people don't want to get involved in that. These people want their money, and they want their money now. And they're willing to break every ethical, moral, and legal barrier that they have to achieve that goal. So yeah, I have a problem with this. And I think every American, everyone in the world should have a problem with this. Because corporations should not have these powers. The only people that should have these kind of powers are our government. The people we elect to power. The people that we actually have some very modest degree of control over. Remember, folks, the voters are in charge. We are the people that put the politicians into office. We are the people that can take the politicians out of office. So we need to make sure that these kind of things stop now. So I'm hoping that the Pennsylvania Attorney General gets off his ass, picks up the phone, and calls the FBI. Because this right here is the most horrendous example I can think of a corporation stepping over the line. They didn't just step over the line, folks. They ran screaming over the line right at these poor consumers. They may be bad decision makers when it comes to finances, but they do not by in any way, shape, or form deserve to have themselves kidnapped, all in an attempt to collect something as meaningless as money.